Okay, sorry if it's a little U here. I'm going to get going in this because it's the fifth time I've tried to record this. It's been let's go ahead and get going. Two things gravitational depends on, and that is going to be your height, obviously. Higher up you go, more energy you have. It's the reason roller coasters are scary from up high, because you know it's going to go faster at the bottom. It also depends on mass, and this is one that's less known, right? But if you think about it, if you have something heavier versus something lighter at the top and it falls, it's going to do more damage. Okay, so gravitational potential energy. Okay, our equation for that is going to be mass times gravity times height. Okay, go ahead and write that down in the section on page 8. I believe it is, maybe it's page 9. And then kinetic energy, you think, well, it's moving, right? Things have to be moving, so that's going to be, it has to have a velocity. Okay, I'm trying to do my best with my handwriting, but I know it's not very good. Also, the screen's going to do that periodically just because it's a pain, but just pay attention. You'll be all right. Okay, it also depends on mass. Okay, so just the same, right? A heavier object is going to do more damage than a lighter object, and we think of energy in that way. Hopefully that makes sense. So our equation then for kinetic energy, okay, is going to be, let's see, 1/2, oh, don't want to do that, times mass times velocity squared. Okay, now all that means in a very quick way is that velocity means more, right? If velocity doubles, then it's actually not just doubling, it's quadrupling because it's a square, right? If I said velocity doubles, that would mean 2 squared, well, that would be 4, right? So my energy would be 4 times what it used to be. Whereas if I were to, I don't know, triple my velocity, well, now it's going to be 9 times what it used to be, right? So that's the crazy part about it, is that velocity means that much more, right? As opposed to mass, where if I double mass, it just doubles the energy. But if I double velocity, it's going to quadruple my kinetic energy. Cool? So let's move on. All right, now, if I looked at both of these guys, let's talk about both their kinetic and their gravitational. Let's pretend they have the same velocity and they get to the same height because they're both flying. Pretend. Which one has more energy? Well, it's going to be this big fella right here, okay? And why? Well, it's just because he's bigger. Okay, so just remember mass is important. More mass, heavier it is. Cool? Basic. All right, now, calculate the kinetic energy of a 5.2 kilogram object moving at 2.4 meters per second. This is your first question, okay? I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. Y'all are smart enough to do this. But kinetic energy equals 1/2 mv squared. Okay, so with that in mind, I just plug things in. 1/2 times my mass of 5.2 times my velocity of 2.4 squared. So first thing I'm going to do is to square that. If you're doing your calculators, remember, use this x2 button, x squared button. You can also do it on your phone, but practice on the calculator at least one time today. So you just get in the habit of doing it. Let me open up my calculator on my phone. Okay, 1/2 times 5.2 times 2.4 times 2.4 again, because that's what squared means. You end up getting 14. I'm going to go 98. And then what are my units? Hopefully you remember them. They're joules. Cool. So we have that. Next question, number 2. Okay, calculate the gravitational potential energy of a 15.8 kilogram object at 5.8 meters above the ground. Okay, GPE equals, whoops, m times g times h, like I said earlier. So let's set it up. So 15.8. Now I realize now that I didn't tell you what g means. G is just our number for gravity, 9.8. Now notice, did I put a negative? No, I did not put a negative, because why? Our height, maybe 5.8 meters, okay, but you can't have negative energy. That wouldn't make any sense. So I either leave them both positive or make both negative, because it's going to fall 5.8 in the future, right? So just put 9.8 there. Don't worry about the negatives. You can't have negative energy. You should be good. Okay, after you multiply everything, you end up getting 898.07, and it's still joules. You know why? Because I can have these joules for gravitational potential, right? Because it could be something that's way off the ground, start falling, and turn into kinetic energy, which should also be joules, as we see here. Cool. So make sure they're with joules. All right, next question. Okay, this one is the big idea here. The big idea. I believe it's number 3. Okay, you have 100 joules of GP at the top. Think about what the law of conservation of energy means, real quick. Law of conservation of energy. That means energy is conserved, which means it doesn't go away. which means that as it starts rolling down to the bottom here, okay, from here to here, okay, what happens? Well, I start gaining kinetic because it gets faster, and I start losing GP. So by the end here, how fast is mine going? I don't know, but I know it's 100 joules of kinetic, right? Because right here, you see those lines right here that I'm drawing over? Okay, those lines mean that it's moving. That means it hasn't hit the ground yet. But it's just at the ground to where we'd say there's no gravitational left. And same thing over here, right? Same idea exactly that you see on the left side. You start with 100 joules, you finish with 0 GP, but it's all now been converted into that. Okay, so you have that idea. Now, the next thing they ask us, which is the big point today, understand velocity. How do I find the velocity? Well, I know my kinetic energy equation is A equals 1/2 mv squared, so I'm trying to find V. So what I can do is take the mass up here and say, well, I know I have 100 joules of kinetic, and I know I have 1/2 times 2 times V squared. So now if I were to do all this math, I'd say, well, that's going to be 1 times V squared, which remember, the 1 just goes away. So I end up with V squared equals 100. Okay, now, you're smart people. If I'm trying to find V, get V by itself, I have to get rid of that squared. So I do that, and I square root it on both sides. I end up finding that my velocity is 10 meters per second. We need to be able to do this. You're going to see that on your test. Okay. Now, on the other side, we'd say, well, it's the exact same question, the exact same numbers, so it's still 10 meters per second. But here's the thing that a lot of us hopefully realize. When we look at this, you go, wait, well, there's no way this ball isn't moving faster than this ball, right? It has to be. And that's true because this ball is rubbing up against this ramp the whole time. And so think about what that creates, right? We talk about this a bunch. There's probably friction on that ramp, which means it's going to create heat, and heat is going to be leaving. So in reality, you don't actually have 100 joules of kinetic. You might have 80 joules, right? Because maybe 20 joules left as heat. But we're going to pretend for now that did not happen. Okay, so that's just a note that if you're wondering, well, surely they're not the same velocity. They probably wouldn't be because of heat. Cool. Now, I'm not going to do any more questions for you. The rest of them are on you. But I want to just give you a brief note on this. Okay, so here's a roller coaster that if I was designing, I'd say, wow, I'm really good at designing roller coasters, but I'm not. So up here is our little cart. Okay, it's got 100 joules. Let's go 1,000 joules instead. 1,000 joules of some kind of energy. Think about what it would be. It's not moving. It's just the very top. Then we give it a little bit of a nudge, and it starts falling down this ramp. Okay, then it gets to right here. Well, now at the bottom, remember, energy is conserved. How much do I have total? Well, it's going to be 1,000 joules still. So no matter where I go, I have 1,000 joules. However, okay, at the lowest point, which is going to be right here, where I have 1,000 written here, that's my lowest. If up here, if this is all GP, right, that's all GP, that means there must be 0 kinetic, correct? Well, then I goes all the way around to the bottom, and I get to the very lowest point. Now at this point, it's all kinetic and 0 gravitational, which means what we are going to have to do then is figure out, well, they're going to tell me maybe the velocity here, which means I can find my kinetic, right? If I have a velocity, I can find kinetic. But you know what else, though? If I have my kinetic at that point, I can then say, well, I know, let's say I have 500 joules of kinetic. That means that I must have how much gravitational, right? Think about it. If they both have to add up to 1,000 there, right? Or maybe up here, I have maybe 300 joules of gravitational. Then how much must I have of kinetic if it's at this point? Okay, so these aren't the numbers you have on your sheet. These are the ones I'm making up on the spot, but you get the idea that my total mechanical is 1,000, let's say. That means that my kinetic and my GP must add up to get that mechanical. Okay, I hope that makes sense. I hope that's not too confusing. Now, I don't expect you to get this 100% right. I mean, obviously I'm not there. The same thing applies to that pendulum question you're going to do. Just trust me though when I tell you that the math on this is not super intimidating, but this is the biggest idea you have to know before I come back. Okay, total energy is conserved, which means that total's 1,000, but you might have some here and some here, right? And they just go back and forth, back and forth. Cool. Hey, hope you'll have a great rest of your day. Hope this was helpful. I'll see y'all tomorrow.